While commanding the International Space Station for Expedition 35, Colonel Chris Hadfield became a rock star for his videos and photos shared through social media. Since coming back down to Earth, Hadfield has made music one of his priorities, and now he's set to release an album beginning of October, which was recorded while in space. And he joins us now from Toronto to talk more about that. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Jill.
It is a pleasure to have Chris Hadfield joining us, and first things first, we want to talk about Mars and that this is a big revelation from NASA scientists who found evidence of flowing water on the planet. Did this come as a surprise to you?
Well, that piece you just ran in the news was a pretty good summary. It's not really a surprise to me because we've seen sort of what looked like maybe scars of running water, but we've never been able to prove it before. But now that satellite that's orbiting Mars has done the analysis of how the light reflects off those scars, and we know for sure that they are the result of flowing water on the hills of Mars. Anywhere on Earth that we have liquid water flowing and there's heat, there's life, and we're looking for life. You know, we imagine UFOs and we make movies about it, but this is real, and so maybe there's life on Mars. But so it's a really fascinating. It's not conclusive, but it's a really fascinating further clue to us understanding if we're alone in the universe or not.
Yeah, further developments, and perhaps you could become the first Canadian to go to Mars.
I don't think it'll be me, but the two Canadian Space Agency astronauts, Jeremy Hansen and David Saint-Jacques, they're working and training. They may have a reasonable shot at walking on the moon. And if we invent the right engines, maybe even Mars. But it's just part of human understanding and exploration. And to me, it's, in amongst everything else, it fascinates me and what inspires our kids.
Well, you've been on a different journey altogether following your expedition, in that music is something that you've been working on. Now, when you went up on the mission, were you expecting that you'd record an album in space?
Oh, no, I've always been a musician, in amongst everything else, and I fronted bands for the last 20 years or so in Houston. But there's a Canadian guitar up on the space station permanently. A Larry Vay is up there, and I just knew I'm going to play it, and so why not try and capture the experience and write some music while I'm there. And by the time I finished, I had like 15 or 16 songs written, and I never intended to write an album, but we thought rather than just keep them in a can, we should release those songs. And all my profits go to music education in Canada. It's not to get rich. This is just another way to let people in on what it's like to be one of the human beings who's leaving Earth, what it's like to see the world from that perspective, to try and express it artistically.
Okay, one of a great reason, of course. And tell us about how art intersects with science for you. Is that an outlet for you? Do they come easily, equally? How do art and science intersect? It's funny, when
you pick up a paper and there's an arts section and a sciences section, they don't know they're separate. You know, if you watch a sunrise, the science in that is so complex, but the beauty and the natural art of it is what most people notice. And for me, it's the balance between the two that is how music is so scientific and complex. What's happening in an orchestra, or even what's happening on a guitar, but at the same time, it becomes a way of communicating with each other that surpasses language. And it's the combination of two that I find the most fascinating. And so to try and explain exploring the rest of the universe using images and words and music, to me, it is my best effort to share what I've been lucky enough to do so far.
Well, we are certainly privy to your understanding of music in a way that I'm sure most of us do not, but I understand this runs in your family. Can you tell us about the family connection on the album?
Yeah, my sister, who lives in Calgary, is a really well-trained pianist, and her daughter, and my mom is a very good piano player. My brothers play guitar and sing. In fact, I wrote some of the songs with my brother Dave. When we get together, it seems we go hi, 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 and then we all start playing music. And to me, it's a way to celebrate and share that is better than just words. You can make somebody laugh just by doing something on a guitar, even if they don't speak your language. So yeah, it's definitely a typical family activity, but for me, it's everywhere. And I bring a guitar everywhere I go, even to a space station.
Even to space, and you'll be sharing that with your fans, and space sessions will be available on October the 9th. That's when it will be released, but you can pre-order it now. ChrisHadfield.ca is where you can get it. We'll put the links up on our website, breakfasttelevision.ca. Always a pleasure. Thanks for spending time with us, and congratulations on your latest endeavor.
Yeah, thanks very much. Nice to talk with you, Joe.
Nice to speak with you as well. Chris Hadfield on Breakfast Television this morning. Is there anything the man cannot do? And he certainly has a wonderful voice as well.